Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Nothing But Sports with Kent Sterling for Friday, January 31st, 2020. Brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill has been my dentist the last 26 years. I have loved every visit. You will too. Make him your dentist today. Call 317-849-2933. A lot of great basketball tomorrow, and we're going to talk to LaVall Jordan in just a little bit. But in the meantime, let's go over the schedule tomorrow and talk about these games. IU at Ohio State. That game's going to be at noon on ESPN. DJ Carton not going to play for the Buckeyes. I guess that's good news for the Indiana Hoosiers. We hate the reason, but you know what? When a really good basketball player is going to sit as you play against him, that's kind of a good thing. So we'll see what happens. The Buckeyes 3-6 in the Big Ten so far this season. Indiana is 5-5. Indiana really needs a win. If they could go on the road and get a win, all these crazy fans would stop calling for Archie Miller to be fired. What's the matter with you people? We've slugged it out for 2.5 years with Archie Miller as the head coach. We're just about to turn the corner, and you want to punt him? Are you out of your minds? Are you crazy people? The culture is coming. Changing the culture is hard. Indiana changing its culture, recruiting inside out. That's critical to their success. They're getting that done with every class. They continue to do that. You're going to see improvement from the Indiana Hoosiers. Then we've got Providence at Butler. Butler 5-3 in the Big East. Providence 4-4. That game at 2:00 on Fox Sports 1. The Knicks at the Pacers tomorrow night. Victor Oladipo, his return, Chapter 2. The Knicks 3-36 on the season. The Pacers 31-17. Domas Sabonis, he's an all-star. And there's an idiot on Twitter saying he might be the worst all-star ever selected. That is absolute nonsense. He averages 18, 13, and almost 5. All right, Domas Sabonis is a hell of a good basketball player and a big part of the reason that the Pacers are 31-17. Then at 9:00 on BTN, you've got Purdue at Northwestern, and Purdue's got to win that game. Straight up. They're 4-6 in the Big Ten. You can't fall to 4-7 with a loss at Northwestern, or damn near all's lost. You're not going to go 6-3 the last 9 games in order to get to 10-10 and go to the NCAA tournament. That's just not going to happen for Purdue. So you've got to whoop up on Northwestern. That game, like I said, 9:00 on BTN. Of course, it's a Friday, and we bring in Harry for his litany of questions. How you doing, Harry?
Oh, I couldn't be better, Ganilla. We're here at Will's Northwoods Tap, as always on a Friday. It's our Friday stop up here. I got a bar named after me a few blocks north of here, but we love Will's at the corner of Racine and Nelson. Hey, Ganilras, but I'll tell you what, cool your jets for just 1 minute, huh? Sit out this first one. I want to ask a question of my good buddy who I know's there with you, the great LaVall Jordan, head coach of the Butler Bulldogs. You know, LaVall, I love home cooking. When Dutchie puts on a fricassee, oh boy, does that taste delicious. She makes a goulash that's completely out of this world. And you pair that with a nice red wine, and oh, my taste buds are firing right now just thinking about it. At any rate, home cooking is the point of the question. With 4 out of the next 5 games right there at Hinkle Fieldhouse for you, is this kind of a key stretch of the season?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't pay attention. I just know we got Providence on Saturday, and Hinkle on Saturday. There's nothing better. You know, I don't really look at the stretches as much as just the next opponent and try to assess our team and what we need to get better at and work on that, and then you know, keep coaching our leaders up so they can lead, you know, like they've been doing.
And to follow that up, is that the key to coming back from 14 down like you were at Georgetown the other night?
No question. You know, Coach Licklider used to always say, to our guys, you can't hurry up and win. And so you just have to stay in the moment and play the next possession. Whatever happened, you know, you can do your job on the next one. And now that requires you to be able to get over some of the distractions, you know, officials and crowds and all those things. But that's what toughness is. You know, you got to have the toughness to just focus on the next moment, focus on your job, help teammates do their job, And then the results take care of themselves if you have that mindset and that level of focus.
All right. Thanks, LaVall, pal. Thanks for coming on board. Good luck tomorrow against Providence at beautiful, historic Hinkle Fieldhouse. Number 2, back to Ganilrez. Are Indiana basketball fans really crazy?
Yes, Indiana fans are crazy. Indiana fans are straight up nuts. Look, but you'd be nuts too if the team that you rooted for hadn't won in the measure you'd like to see them win since 2002. That's not just going to the national championship game or going to the Final Four. It's also the last time that Indiana went to the Elite Eight. That's how long it's been since Indiana has played into the end of the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. It's been 18 years since Dane Fife and Tom Coverdale and Kyle Hornsby and Jared Jeffries and Jeff Newton and all those guys went to the NCAA championship game. All right. And Indiana fans are tired of it. They slogged through the rest of Mike Davis's reign in Bloomington. They made it through Kelvin Sampson. They made it through Tom Crean. Now they've got Archie Miller, and what they see is a little bit more of the same with Archie Miller. But what Archie Miller is trying to do and why Indiana fans have to remain patient is he's rebuilding the culture while accommodating players from the previous regime. That is really, really hard. Archie could have done what Fred Hoiberg's done and just lay waste to the whole roster. Everybody's gone from Tim Miles' last Nebraska team. He's got one guy remaining. Archie Miller could have done that and rebuilt in the way that Tom Crean did after the 07-08 season. But he didn't want to do that. He didn't see that as the most prudent way to go about this. So what he did was maintain what Tom Crean had while adding and building toward a different culture, and that is going to look bad for a while. This is year 3 of Archie Miller, but really he's only had 2 recruiting classes. So what he coached in 2017, 2018, he coached Tom Crean's recruits. Then he put together a recruiting class of Rob Finnessy, Romeo Langford, Demezy Anderson, remember? And then this year, he's got another recruiting class with Trace Jackson Davis and Armand Franklin and Joey Brunk as a grad-eligible transfer. All these guys from Indiana, right? He's got Trey Galloway coming next year, Anthony Leal coming next year, and a kid from New Jersey who's playing at a prep school up in New England. So those 3 guys are coming in. Each year, you're going to see this culture kind of build a root system in Bloomington. The next year, hopefully another successful year of recruiting Indiana guys to play at Indiana. If you can't win the recruiting battle in Indiana, you have no chance to win at Indiana. And that was one of the reasons that Tom Crean had to go. Archie Miller's getting that done, but he's only halfway there in building his roster. And we've got to give him the time necessary to be able to do that. We got to be patient, man. You've got to be patient. You can't be a wacko and they lose at Penn State and you feel like jumping off the roof. Don't do that. Wait. Be circumspect. Understand what this thing is. This is a major undertaking, and Archie Miller is doing it year by year. He's building it block by block by block from the foundation up, and that's the way you need to do it.
Number 3, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Harry, I don't have a hootin' hell of a notion. I have no idea who's going to win that game. You got the 49ers on one side. You got the Chiefs on the other. It's a great matchup. You got a terrific defense with the 49ers. You got the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, and a terrific offense. And I don't know who the hell's going to win because I haven't given a moment's thought to this game. With Kobe Bryant's death, with Victor Oladipo coming back, with John Andretti dying yesterday, you know what? We're thinking about other things. You've got Indiana playing an important game, Purdue, important game tomorrow, Butler, an important game tomorrow. We're in the middle of a lot of other stuff. And expanding my bandwidth to be able to consider a winner for the Super Bowl, I just can't do it. And so people have told me, well, you need to bet on the game in order to prompt your own interest. Look, if I need to go spend money to care about a football game, what the hell am I doing? What kind of a life am I leading then? So I have no idea who's going to win this game, and frankly, I don't really care.
Nice dodge. That's a terrible answer, for God's. It's a seminal sporting event on the American calendar, for God's sake. How do you not care about it? All right, number 4. How would you rate Victor Oladipo's comeback thus far?
We're only one game into it. And Victor, he missed his first 6 threes. He hit the 7th. The 7th was a big one, 28-footer to tie the game with 9 seconds left against the Bulls. So big shot, big Vic. That's what he does. And so even though he missed those first 6, I rate this thing as a 10 out of 10. All right, Victor Oladipo, that smile, that focus. I thought the defense was really good against the Bulls, at least Oladipo's defense. I thought that him offensively, he's got a ways to go. But Victor is going to be a high-quality athletic component to this team by the time we get to the playoffs, and that's going to be important. The trade deadline's coming up in about a week for the NBA. The Pacers, they can stand pat because what they've done is added an all-star back into the mix without giving away anything, without sending something else to somebody. So Kevin Pritchard, I would imagine at the trade deadline, the Pacers are going to be quiet. They're going to be calm and collected and happy to bring Victor back as the additional piece as we head into the mythological second half of the season. I think it's been terrific. It's great to be around Victor. I think he's learned a lot about himself and a lot about the game as he's gone through this year of rehab. Good for Victor. Becoming an adult and learning, that happens through dealing with adversity. And Victor Oladipo has dealt with a lot of adversity over the last year.
Oh, I loved it when he hit that shot. I thought Mark and Slick captured the moment perfectly. Number 5, you had a little dust up on Twitter about netting at Wrigley Field this week. What'd you learn?
I did. And what I learned is that people don't listen and people don't read. Because here was the point. All right. The point is that people at some level have to take responsibility for their own safety. Like every time something bad happens, we want to point fingers at either a homeowner, a property owner, whatever. It's always somebody else's fault. At some point, the fault lies with us. If you're in a ballpark and you get hit by a foul ball and you weren't paying attention, that's on you. If you were paying attention, but you're unable to protect yourself and you're sitting outside the netting, look, you know what? The netting exists for a reason, and that's to provide a safe harbor for people who otherwise might be hurt by foul balls. You look at the Albert Almora deal last year, all right, in Houston. He hits a foul ball, and it hits a little girl in the head, and the girl's got what is likely to be lifelong brain damage. Nobody wants to see that. I don't care about the nets. Put up the nets. That's fine. What I do care about is that at some point people have to say, okay, what am I at risk for here? Like if you go out and you play golf in a lightning storm and you get struck by lightning, that's nobody's fault but your own. These things, you can mitigate a lot of risk in your life just by being smart about it and understanding what kind of peril is possible as you attend certain events or attempt certain endeavors. So let's talk about crossing the street. If you're going to cross the street at the light and the light is shining with a walking signal, right, says walk, and it's white or green, you look both ways, you cross the street. The odds of you being hit by a car are almost zero. Now, if you cross mid-block and cars are coming and you don't look both ways, the odds are really, really good you're going to get hit by the car. At some point, you have to assess and you have to kind of adjust, and then you keep yourself safe, all right? That's all this is about. This is about taking some personal responsibility. It's not even about netting. I don't care that the Cubs are putting up netting at Wrigley Field. I don't sit where they're going to put up the netting. I'll sit in the bleachers, have an unobstructed view, and I don't even, whatever. That's fine. But I just want people to understand that there are certain points in your life where you've got to behave responsibly in order to mitigate risk. And that's the way it goes. Harry, thank you very much as always. Appreciate your 2 cents. And I appreciate you asking LaVall Jordan that question. And the follow-up question. Very cagey by you. Very, very nice.
My pleasure, Ganilra. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope all the teams, all our wonderful listeners are rooting for, win like crazy. Now, for God's sake, we didn't even talk about Ernie Banks. This would have been Ernie, Mr. Cubs, 89th birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Cobb, Ernie Banks. Happy number 14. Happy birthday to you. Light 'em up, barkeep. I'm buying one on Ernie for the house.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. As we said earlier, a huge basketball day tomorrow in Indiana with IU playing at noon and Butler playing at 2, the Pacers playing at 7, and Purdue playing at 9. So if you're going to sit around and watch basketball tomorrow, there's no better way to do it. But you know what? Get out, do something. If you want to go to a bar, watch the games, that's fine too. But get out, breathe some fresh air, and get out in a communal atmosphere and cheer for who you're cheering for. Yell at people. Have fun and enjoy yourself. And happy birthday is Harry. Who else but Harry could sing happy birthday to Ernie Banks? Ernie Banks' 89th birth anniversary today. We lost Ernie about 4 years ago. So there you go. Ernie Banks, the greatest of all the all-time greats that have worn a Chicago Cubs uniform. Monday morning, join us for Breakfast with Ken on Facebook Live straight up at 8 o'clock. And then after we finish that, we do another one on Periscope. You can watch that on your Twitter feed, too. It's a show so nice. We do it twice. Get the audio book for Oops. Go to Amazon.com, search Oops and Kent or Kent Sterling. Get the audio book. It's 6 hours and 40 minutes of listening to me tell stories about how dumb I was back when I was a little bit younger. The mistakes I've made and what I learned from them, that's what the book's all about. Like I said, 6 hours and 40 minutes of magic. That's what it is. You like laughing at the misfortunes of others? This is right up your alley. We'll talk to you Monday morning. Join me.